Welcome to the Sibling Rivalry MMA Podcast. Today we're going to talk about the fights that happened this weekend, mainly Poirier vs. Hooker, because that was one of the best fights of the year. Some people think it was. And then we're going to talk about where that ranks among the best fights of the year and kind of talk about those as well. So
that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we already tried to record this once a second ago, and he didn't know what we were talking about.
I got confused.
Yeah. And we're talking about Mike Perry, because his girlfriend won him the fight.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to pay his taxes.
Yeah. God, that was one of the best post-fight interviews ever.
That was awesome.
If you didn't watch that, please go check that out, because he was rambling about all kinds of stuff, and then just started talking about taxes. He's like, I'm going to go to the government and see if we can get my taxes to be less. This isn't fair.
He said he's going to tell Dana White, he's like, just have the taxes taken out before you pay me.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets it.
Yeah. So he doesn't understand how taxes work.
Hopefully that works out for him, though. I support him.
Yeah. So one main theme of this card that happened this weekend was guys winning the fight and then getting submitted really late and just tapping. The main thing of that, Maurice Green and Gian Vellante, we can start with that.
Yeah. I think he kind of just tapped out, partly from being tired. It didn't seem like that tight of a choke. It was like an arm triangle from the bottom. And yeah, I think it was, I'm sure he was getting choked, but I think it was more just him being exhausted.
Yeah.
It seems like something he should have been able to get out of.
There was no way he should have tapped out to that. I hate to be a guy that telling fighters what they should do and stuff, but every once in a while something like that happens where it's like, come on, dude. That was just plain and simple him not being very tough, I think, and just being tired. Because the ref was about to stand them up. The ref was right before he tapped, he goes, come on, let's work, and was about to stand them up because Green was just holding on and Gian had him hurt. And then he tapped out, and the commentary team was trying to figure out what happened.
Was it an Ezekiel choke?
It was pretty clear to me that it was an arm triangle from bottom, but he shouldn't have tapped out to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think even he was kind of oh shit, I won?
I think he was just kind of holding on to survive because he was winning the fight and he got almost knocked out.
Yeah. Also, Vellante weighed 50 pounds more than he usually does when he fights.
Yeah, he looked bad. He was fat as fuck. He looked horrible.
Green, he has a really high pace for heavyweight. He was looking, I thought, pretty good until he got cracked, right?
He tried to throw a Superman punch.
Oh yeah, that's what
and got hit with a really short left hook.
Yeah,
not even a big shot.
Don't do that again.
Yeah, they could have stopped that fight, I think.
Mm-hmm. I was worried because I had money on him, which didn't end up mattering. But.
I'm glad they didn't stop it because he was still moving and but he wasn't protecting himself. He was getting smacked, but he was obviously still there.
Yeah.
And then Mike Perry versus Mickey Gall kind of went. Now, it didn't really go how I thought it would. We thought Perry would win, but he did a lot of grappling and kind of dominated on the ground.
Yeah, it was more Perry did, more grappling I thought he would, and Gall's stand-up looked better than I thought it would. And you could tell Perry hadn't been sparring or at a gym. He was throwing some weird punches. He was missing a lot. Yeah, he was throwing like that, a lot, kind of from the feet. But he still dominated. He had great corner work. I was so pissed that they cut out the first round. They went to commercial. I'm like, dude, this is the most important part of the fight.
Yeah, that's all anybody wanted to see. Nobody really cared about the fight. Gall's just not good. Plain and simple, he's not very good.
He's already just not good enough.
Everyone thought he was good on the ground, but the two of the fights he lost, one against Perry, one against Diego Sanchez, he got handled on the ground
and he's dirty,
really badly. Yeah,
Gall's a dirty fighter. He bit Diego Sanchez, which come on, dude, don't bite Diego Sanchez. And then he kept grabbing the fence, which everybody does, but they kept calling him on it though. The announcers were watching for him to do that. I guess he grabbed gloves. And there was a part where the ref was trying to do something and he threw an elbow or a right hook.
He threw an elbow, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of dirty. I don't know how much longer he's going to be in the UFC, to be honest.
Yeah, I've never been a big Mickey Gall fan, and it's not he was a hype train, but they didn't try to push him too fast.
Mm-hmm.
One of the fights he lost, I don't even remember who the guy was, and then Diego Sanchez, that's a fight, if you're going to be an up-and-coming guy like that, you should win. He got dominated. Then they let him fight another guy, and now Mike Perry, he's not... he fights good guys, but he's not one of the top guys. I don't know. Mickey Gall, I don't think he'll be around much longer. He seems more like a Bellator kind of guy at this point. Like Sage Northcutt did. Maybe he can go have a good career somewhere else, but he's never going to be what some people thought he might be in the UFC.
Who thought that he was going to be that?
People hyped him up a lot. He got the CM Punk fight. You have to be they weren't just going to give it to anybody.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't think he was going to be good because he beat CM Punk, but they obviously thought he was something if that's who they gave him, because they were trying to build him off that. So, main event is mostly what we're here to talk about anyway. Poirier vs. Hooker, one of the best fights of the year. The first 2 rounds were 2 of the best rounds I've ever seen. And Poirier out-toughed him, out-conditioned him, won the 4th and 5th round. And I saw some people think Hooker won, but most people I think agreed 48-47 Poirier.
Yeah, it seemed like most people did agree. And I agree too. I gave it to Poirier. But, I mean, so many of those rounds were so hard to score. Like the first, I don't remember. I mean, the fight's kind of a blur. Like, I remember all the stuff that happened. I just don't remember when it happened. But I remember after every round, I'd be like, I think this guy won. But it was so close. I mean, the first 3 rounds, I think, were like, yeah.
Definitely the first 2. I don't remember.
It's hard to remember because so much happened. I mean, it was really for a long time nonstop action. And then I think the 4th round, it kind of started to turn into a wrestling match. You could tell Poirier had the better conditioning. Hooker was getting gassed, which, no shame, the pace they were fighting at, I mean, it's impossible to keep up. One of the things that really impressed me was Poirier being able to keep that power for so long. Every punch he threw, even later on, was so hard. Yeah, I mean, it was a great fight. I do think Poirier won. I was really impressed with Hooker. I had money on him. Really just more because of the odds. I kind of thought Poirier was going to win, but I put a little money on Hooker to get the knockout, which he might have got if he had, I think it was round 3, I don't know. If he would have had like a few more seconds, he might have got it. But I don't know, this division's just so stacked. What do you even do what do you do next?
I mean, Poirier versus Tony would make sense. If Conor was going to fight, Poirier versus Conor would make a lot of sense. I think it would be a pretty big fight. I was surprised about how
That'd be a huge fight, I think.
I was surprised about how many people this weekend texted me talking about Poirier. Got a lot of people, like, everyone that texts me knows MMA a little bit, but they don't follow it super heavy. Mm-hmm. And I had, like, a lot of people texting me about Poirier fighting this weekend and asked me about it. So he definitely has a name, maybe because he fought Habib. Maybe that's how people are kind of knowing him.
Well, every time he fights, it's amazing. So that's how you get fans.
So, I mean, him and Conor that's one of the bigger fights Conor could have right now. That would actually make sense, because unless he waits for the Habib-Gaethje winner. And then Hooker, I mean, same thing. Hooker versus Tony that wouldn't be bad.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, they're just kind of stuck up there with those 5 guys, though. Like, anybody under them kind of doesn't really make sense, you know?
Yeah, I think Hooker and Tony and Conor and Poirier makes a lot of sense, because you're going to have Gaethje and Khabib. A lot of people are saying this is like the best division of all time, which is possible.
Yeah, I mean, Habib is arguably the best fighter ever. I mean, some people would say, fighting-wise, he is. Maybe not resume, but he's 28 or 29 now.
Every time Poirier fights, I think, well, I mean, even before, because I guess his last fight was Khabib, but, I mean, after this one, I think that Khabib victory there is even more impressive.
Yeah. I mean, Habib's insane. I mean, he dominated Conor, and Conor's a top 15 fighter ever. Dominated Poirier, he's dominated everybody. And then you have Gaethje, who is the most entertaining fighter ever and just beat Tony. And then you have Tony, who is on a 12-fight win streak and probably the second best lightweight ever at this point. Then you have Conor, who's a top 15 fighter ever. Then you have Poirier, who is as good as any of these guys. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, then you got, even Hooker. Like, Hooker's a top guy in any other time.
I can't wait to see him fight again.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, this weight class is loaded, and there's so many fun fights left. Mm-hmm. But I think the division's going to be... I think it's going to thrive when Habib retires. I wouldn't even be mad if Habib retired after Gaethje, because if he beats Gaethje, then, like, the scrap for the belt between Gaethje and Poirier and Conor and Tony and all these guys is just going to be so fun to watch. Mm-hmm. It's going to be even better when Habib's done, because none of these guys can beat Habib.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's cool. Should we talk about the best fights of the year? There's something else that me and Fleet were talking about when I was in Denver. I thought was kind of interesting. Or do you have more to say about this?
No, you can say that.
We were talking about Dana White and, like, you know, just kind of how he is and how everybody kind of hates him now, and all the stuff he's done for the sport. And we're just saying, how much longer do you think he's going to be involved, and just kind of thinking, like, the sport's outgrown him at this point?
I think he's going to be around forever.
You think so?
The sport's not going to be what it is without Dana. If Dana wasn't around, they wouldn't be fighting right now.
Well, I think the sport got to where it is because of him for a big part of it. I think he's done a lot for the sport, but I think within the next few years, I mean, I think they've outgrown him. No other sports organization has somebody that acts like that, that's in charge. They're talking shit about the fighters, saying, what did he say the other day? This is
opportunity.
This is an opportunity. It's not a career. Like, I mean, that's kind of crazy. And just the way he talks shit about all those fighters, and yeah, I think they gotta get rid of him at some point. I don't really like him.
I like him.
I like him sometimes.
Dude, I mean, the stuff he's saying, I get what he's saying, though. It's different, though, because in any other sport, the president doesn't make the contracts and stuff. Their teams do, right? So, like, in the NFL, Jerry Jones is cutting the checks, not Roger Goodell. So it's a lot different. This guy's managing a whole NFL worth of people, where in the NFL, Roger Goodell doesn't have that relationship with the players, and the players hate Roger Goodell too. But it's the managers and the owners of the teams that are the ones that are doing their pay. And we see players get mad at the owners and managers and coaches too, like they do Dana, but they can just go to a different team. Mm-hmm. Like the UFC, it's a little different because Dana, they can go to a different organization, but they're not going to make what they make in the UFC or have.
A lot of times they'll make more in another organization. It's just the fact that they're under contracts.
Guys, though, only the best of the best.
I mean, I don't think it's the best of the best. I think if you just have kind of a name at all in the UFC, you can get more money somewhere else.
Yeah,
it depends.
But the Dana thing's different. It's different than other sports.
Yeah, but it's different because even the team owners, they're not openly talking shit about their players.
Some do, but yeah,
not like Dana. Though. Yeah, not like he does.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I mean, it's a different sport than everything else, though. Like it's a fight. Like, stop being so sensitive, you know?
I'm not being sensitive. I just don't like Dana White.
Some of them are being... No, not you, them. I'm talking about them. The fighters are sensitive sometimes.
Yeah.
Fighters and people like that, like, I've learned that with wrestlers, like, they're the most sensitive people ever.
Yeah,
Their egos are just too big, and... I mean, these guys, they'll get butthurt if the dude critiques them one bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember Rampage Jackson was mad at Joe Rogan because of, like, some of his commentating.
Yeah, like... I don't know. Dude, these guys are getting paid. The payouts I see them getting right now, I don't know how some of them are bitching. Because there's guys that are making $250 and $250 that aren't big names. You can make $500K if you win a fight. Mm-hmm. Like, people working, right? Like, normal people don't make that in 10 years.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like,
you make that in one night.
Like Jorge Masvidal, for example. Like, he's worked his whole career to get to where he's at now. And now he's finally to a point where he's going to make, like, really good money. Maybe not as good as his last fight, which, I mean, that's the biggest fight he could have had. He's at a point where he can finally make money, and now he doesn't want to do it. He wants more. But, like, you're making more than you ever have in your whole career.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand the John Jones thing. He kind of gets screwed, but he screwed himself also.
Yeah, but he makes $500 flat, which actually, John Jones is one guy who should be making more than that, but he's also a big risk, so... Mm-hmm. But, like, I mean, guys like Corey Anderson, I think he makes, like, $250. Like, $500. You make $500,000 if you want to fight. And, like, people aren't freaking begging to see you fight. Like, guys like that, like, oh, my God, man. Like, people shouldn't be complaining, I don't think, as much as they are. Because if you worked a normal job, it'd make you 10 years to make that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And a lot of good points here. I think we covered some shit.
Yeah.
Maybe we should break that up into 2 videos?
Maybe.
Do we know how?
I know how, yeah. I can do it.
How.
Not on this crappy computer. But the other thing that we were going to talk about, we can talk about real fast, is the best fight of the year, which, I mean, the only reason I kind of want to talk about it is because I saw a lot of people saying that they think Poirier vs. Hooker was better than Joanna vs. Zhang.
Totally disagree.
Yeah, I mean...
It was a great fight, but I mean...
The first 2 rounds were great. The rest of the fight was okay. Like, it was a good fight.
It kept it exciting.
Yeah.
Because at any point, it could have been over. But the Zhang Joanna fight, that might be the best fight ever.
If it wasn't 2 girls, I think people would say it was.
Yeah.
But they were just so small and girls.
They were so good.
I know. I think it's a top 5 fight ever for me. I think the lack of them getting dropped and stuff maybe was what people would say.
That's kind of what made it so exciting too.
Yeah, and nobody knows who won. I think most people thought Joanna won.
I don't think so. I thought Zhang won.
I don't remember.
I don't know what other people thought, but I don't care.
But yeah, that fight was definitely better. The Poirier-Hooker fight, the first 2 rounds were amazing. I think the 3rd round was pretty good, and then 4th and 5th were, like, it was good. They were good. Poirier continually going for guillotine chokes that he doesn't get. That always look like he's going to get him is, like, his thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin Poirier could almost guillotine anybody in the world, and he never will guillotine anybody.
Yeah. You just got to do it a little sooner before he's all bloody and sweaty.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a good video.
I think we did great.
I do
Back on top, baby.
The whole Dana White thing, that's going to be the title. I'm not even going to title this the Hooker Poirier review. Dana White thing was the highlight of the podcast today.
Did good.
Did good. So, check us out. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. Check us out on Twitter at Rivalry MMA. Shout out to Big Head Media, posting us on all that stuff. And we'll see you.
You can buy shirts of ours on that one now also.
Oh, yeah. I'll tweet that link out. I still got to buy a shirt, too. I haven't even got one.
Yeah.
So we'll have Casey Kenny on probably next week, sometime soon. We'll have him on.
Yeah, we do. He just fought too.
Yeah, he just got a big win, and so look out for that, and we'll see you guys next time.